Brave Jebediah Kerman. He gave his life for the progression of the space program. He will be missed. Greetings and welcome to Zord's scientific space program. And sorry to start off the first episode on such a downer note, but gotta pay some respect to the very first Kerbal casualty in any space program I have run. So this new space program, maybe I should tell you what's going on the screen and then I talk about the new space program. What I'm doing is the second launch of the scientific space program, and I'm going into a polar orbit around Kerbin. So this is a rocket made from the first technology and the second technology. So I have decouplers. And we're going into this polar orbit to get over as many different biomes as possible. Because with Bill Kerman, we can do an EVA and do a EVA or science report, which gets us science depending on which biome we are orbiting over. So we have hills, grasslands, and whatever. So we're just gonna do lots of science, 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 and science, and science. And when we're done, we come back. Luckily, I made this exceptionally controlled re-entry here, so only the parts that are specifically designed to be heated during re-entry get exposed to the heat. Yes. And we are going to land on the polar ice caps, which is good because we can do a surface sample here and get even more science. Yes, this is going to be a running theme for a while. We are going to try to get a lot of science, not maybe maximize everything at every possible opportunity, but we're gonna try and get a lot. And that is more or less the goal of the scientific space program. We're going to, for starters, max out the new tech tree. So this is our first science report, looks rather good. And the tech tree is not very filled out at the moment, but let's just buy some things because we can't afford it. And that's about it. So now we build a new rocket, which is this. I call this the Mun Orbiter 1 because it's going to orbit the Mun and bring back science. So far I must say I like this new career mode. It brings back memories of the good old days when parts were few and maneuver nodes didn't exist. And in that spirit I'm going to the Mun without maneuver nodes. I'm doing it the good old way, just orbiting and waiting for Mun rise. And there we go. It still works perfectly well, which would be strange otherwise. And I see here when I do use a maneuver node that I can get a Minimus encounter just by pure luck. I can get a Minimus encounter on the way back, which of course I'm gonna take because it means more science. And I don't know if you have been keeping score of how many maneuver nodes I have unintentionally destroyed by EVAing the Kerbal while the maneuver node is in place. But I have, and I think it's 3 so far. We're gonna get a few more of those before this episode is over. So yeah, I have to replan the encounter with Minimus, and after that I can go and do some science. And the whole purpose of this particular mission is principally to discover batteries and hopefully solar panels, because right now we are very limited in what we can do by our electricity. Which is why I choose to bring the big engine instead of the LV909, which I have invented, but it doesn't generate electricity, so I don't want to use it because it's actually dangerous. And here we come across one of these Pashtkonic bugs that's been lingering in the game for a while, because you cannot see the encounter with Minimus, despite it showed up just before. And if you tweak the orbit of it, you can see that it's there, but it just disappears in a certain interval when it shouldn't. So I just decided to, with a very small tweak, just go ahead and do the encounter without the game telling me it's supposed to be there. And of course it happens. I am close enough to Minimus to enter its sphere of influence, so I do. And this is when we start to get electricity problems, because I wanna I want to send home some of the science, but I don't have enough electricity. And I want to send the science home so that I can take new science from Minmus. And yeah, you see the problem here. The only way I can make more electricity is by using my engine, and I have limited amounts of fuel, and I need to use that fuel to get back home. Fortunately, I have enough to do that, and I also get enough electricity in the process. Not quite enough though, because the antenna is still extended, meaning it's still trying to transmit, which is why I'm burning the engine right now. Because I just want the electricity, not that I need to slow down, even though that's probably a nice side effect if this was real, watching the other stage burn up there. Now let's just hope we are able to land this on land, and it certainly looks like it, because if we do, this is going to be a very productive mission. We're going to get so much science like you wouldn't even believe. Here we go. Make one report for slightly above the surface, one report on the surface, and one surface sample, and recover. That's it. That's how it's supposed to look. Lots and lots of science. Let's unlock batteries and solar panels. We have lots of science left. What to do? What to do? I probably need more science, because this is the scientific space program. So we unlock the thermometers. And equipped with this new technology, we are going to the moon, and we're gonna land on it this time. Here we also see the first use I made of the stock sub-assembly. Those boosters on the side are now a sub-assembly, so you may see them again, you may also not see them again, because they're really kind of crap. So we're again doing this old school without the nodes, because that's how we did it back in my day. Back when I was not yet as good at KSP as I am now. Actually, the basic design of these rockets are very much inspired by the rockets I used to build back in the day, before 0.18, say, or before 0.17 even. They're very much inspired by what I did then and what I learned during that time. The concepts still hold. You need about as big a rocket then as you do now for the single manned Mun mission. So we set up the node for circularization, and we time warp, and we do an EVA report, and there's another node. Add one to the collection. Yeah, I'm not used to EVAing so much, and I'm also not used to the nodes not being persistent, me being addicted to Kerbal Alarm Clock and everything. But anyway, we are in Mun orbit, and we're going to land, because that's where all the sweet science is, or well, where most of it is. So we're just gonna land in that big crater. That looks good, and we get a nice trajectory there. So we just set ourselves up for the maneuver. Good. And we do a quick EVA report while we're waiting. And yeah, add 2. So redo the maneuver node. I'm getting quite good at doing maneuver nodes in this episode, because I'm doing a lot of them, for sure. So now the Mun, like Kerbin, has different biomes, which is very good because it means higher potential total science. Minmus is just one biome as of yet, so it's a lot less productive in terms of science. At least if you have the option to go to many different places and not just do a flyby. So we get down and detach the stage just before to save as much fuel in the rocket as possible, because I only have one of those tiny tanks. So we need to have all the fuel we can get. And this is it. First Kerbal steps on another world. Yes, and of course it's a face plant, because that's how these guys roll. So Bill needs to do his thing. He needs to plant a flag, the landing site of the first Mun landing, in memory of Jeb Kerman. Couldn't have been possible without him. You know, someone had to fly that rocket. You can inspect the stage. Looks pretty much like part of a rocket, if you ask me. And time to get back in the ship, if we can. Yeah. So that's it. That's the Mun mission, and It turns out this tiny fuel tank is not enough to go home. Not even close. But it is enough to move the rocket to another biome, so I'm gonna do that because while we're here, we might as well get as much science out of this as possible. We can beam home whatever science. Well, we must actually beam home everything because we're not going home. If Bill can successfully land this craft before the fuel runs out, he's going to sit and wait for a rescue ship to arrive. And before that can happen, I need to design a rescue ship. He'll probably be fine. He's got air, he's got snacks, he's got a nice view. Before he signs off, he's going to do as much science as possible. So just fill out those report cards, Bill. Because with this new knowledge, we will be able to build a ship that can fly without a pilot. And we will send such a ship to come and rescue you. We will not leave you on the mun, Bill. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!